My wife despised me for being a forensic pathologist and cheated with a towboy. The night of our divorce, I immediately hooked up with his fiancée. She was gorgeous, long legs, tiny waist, and we spent a wild night in the sheets. I definitely got the better end of the deal. I thought we would never see each other again after that passionate night. But when I transferred to my new unit, she turned out to be the captain of the detective squad. Ziting glanced at me, her face colder than ever. Dr. Yi. This is our boss, Captain Z. Nice to meet you, Captain. Hello, she replied coldly. She acted distant, like we were complete strangers, putting on a perfectly professional front. But please, she had just spent the night in my bed. Ziting gave my hand a brief shake and tried to pull away, but I held on tight. She shot me a warning glance, and I just calmly raised my eyebrows at her. She yanked her hand back. Dr. Yi, I hope your professional skills are up to standard. Don't disappoint me. Did I disappoint you the other night? Hearing that, Ziting refused to look at me again. She turned and strode off to her office. I headed to the forensics lab to get familiar with my new autopsy table and equipment. Just as I was about to start, my assistant, Zion, rushed in. Dr. Yi, some fishermen just hauled a suitcase out of Kingshan Lake. There's a decomposed body inside. Let's move. We headed to Kingshan Lake in the suburbs, just as when I arrived, Ziting and her team were already there. Even from a distance, the stench was overpowering. She was questioning the fisherman who found the suitcase. Dr. Yi, the smell is extremely bad. You going to be okay? No problem at all. I smiled. Ziting caught my eye for a second. She looked like a totally different person from that night. But when I'm on the clock, I'm dead serious and fully focused. Officer Cheng stuttered. Do Dr. Yi, the body is so badly decomposed, can we still identify her? Deceased is female, between 40 and 45 years old, around 160 to 165 centimeters tall. She's been dead for at least a year. For the exact cause of death, we need to head back to the lab. A full autopsy and toxicology screening are required before we can be certain. Zimeng, contact the hydrology department, get the water flow and level data for Kingshan Lake over the past year to pinpoint the dump site. And ZCHE, pull the missing women's files from the last year, filter by age and height. Understood. Also, trace the manufacturer of that suitcase. Everyone sprang into action. By afternoon, Ziting stepped into the lab. Do we have the results yet? Yes. The victim was strangled into unconsciousness first, then struck on the head with a blunt object, causing fatal traumatic brain injury. Her hyoid bone and thyroid cartilage were fractured, proving she endured brutal violence, but it wasn't enough to suffocate her. Look right here. Bone fragments are embedded in her skull, meaning she was beaten repeatedly before she died. First strangled, then finished off with a blunt object. This was premeditated murder, not a crime of passion. Exactly. I still need to run a 3D skull reconstruction to identify the weapon's shape and test the bones for trace chemical residues. Hopefully, we can lock down the weapon. Good work. Just doing my job. But as I turned back to the microscope, my stomach let out a loud rumble. It had been nearly 7 hours since we found the body, and I hadn't eaten a bite. Ziting noticed and said softly, "Take a break. Go get some food first." "I'm fine," I replied. "Go eat." Captain Z, in what capacity are you ordering me? As my casual hookup, a colleague, or my ex-wife's lover's ex-fiancé? Colleague, she snapped, walking out without looking back. Staring at Ziting's cold back, I playfully kicked the air behind her. But she must have had eyes in the back of her head, because she whipped around and caught me red-handed. You seem to have a major attitude problem, Dr. Yi. Attitude? Captain Z, after our deep, intimate connection, you're really going to pretend we're total strangers? If I remember correctly, Dr. Yi, you swore you wouldn't cling to me after that night. Afraid I'd get addicted to you, or is it your thoughts that aren't innocent? What can I say, Captain? I smirked. That icy, untouchable look of yours just makes me want to kiss you until you break. I'll say this once, and only once, I don't mix business with pleasure. No one-night stands, no casual hookups. End of story. Well, too bad. I'm a bit of a rebel. The more you try to push me away and act like nothing ever happened, the more I want to mess with you. We walked into the cafeteria together. Boss, over here, One of her team called out. I nodded, grabbed my tray, and sat right across from Ziting to discuss the case. Trying to break the tension, Chen Zhao suddenly changed the subject. Dr. Yi, let's talk about something fun. You're so handsome and skilled. Do you have a girlfriend? Nope. Seriously. That's perfect. Our boss is single too. You two would make a great. Hey. Who kicked me? Chen Zhao, stop playing matchmaker and eat your food. Boss. Why the dramatic reaction? Don't tell me you're still hung up on your ex-fiance. Honestly, that guy looks incredibly greasy and fake. He's totally out of your league. Chen Zhao. I said shut up and eat. Are you deaf? Chen Zhao shut her mouth. Understood. Boss, I watched the furious Ziting and slyly kicked her under the table. She didn't react, so I gave her another light nudge. She suddenly stood up. I'm full. Whoa. What's with the attitude? Is it her time of the month? After lunch, I got a call from my buddy, Zia Yibai. Hey. Old Yi, I'm so furious, my chest is about to burst. Calm down, Yibai. Take a breath and tell me what happened. Who pissed you off? That absolute piece of trash. I want to rip him to shreds. I was scrolling through that gigolo's feed on my Burr account, and your toxic ex, Funanian, just bought him a Rolex. You two were married for years, and did she ever give you anything nice? She never loved you. Listen. Just delete her. Funanian and I are completely done. The second we signed the divorce papers, we became strangers. Who she buys watches for is none of my business. Don't waste your energy getting angry over them. She's blind. Throwing away an amazing guy like you for a piece of trash. She regret it, I promise you. After chatting with Yibai for a bit, I went back to the lab. I pulled an all-nighter in the lab. Once the results were ready, I went to find Ziting. She hadn't slept either and was in the evidence room inspecting the suitcase. Look at this material, she muttered. And the vintage riveting. It looks like a handmade piece from an old workshop or hardware store decades ago. Zihi. Trace any local factories or leather workshops that used to manufacture this specific model. Focus on closed or rebranded businesses. Zihi saw me on his way out and waved. Dr. Yi, here to see the captain. Ziting turned around as I stepped forward and handed her my report. My preliminary findings, based on the 3D skull reconstruction and impact simulation. The fatal blow came from a blunt object. Its surface was circular, about 10 centimeters wide, with curved edges. Extremely hard, it matches the base of a heavy crystal or glass ashtray. We also extracted trace scent particles DEET from the clothing fibers. It's a highly specific, niche rose perfume. This is incredibly useful, she said. I let out a massive yawn. Yep, the actual legwork and tracking down of leads is officially in your detective team's hands now. I need to crash before I die of exhaustion. Go get some rest, she replied. Driving home, I saw her leading her team out. Check this number, I heard her order. Ziting ran a search on niche perfume purchases over the last 2 years, filtering for female buyers between 40 and 45. Meanwhile, other officers visited traditional hardware workshops. They tracked down the buyers of those custom trunks. After narrowing down the list, they focused on a 42-year-old woman named Zhang Ning, who left a year ago to recover abroad. Her social media, still active. She keeps posting, with her IP address showing she's overseas. Yet her husband, Subanian, has no record of leaving the country this past year. Neighbors and relatives have no details about him visiting her. This makes no sense. Ziting handed me Zhang Ning's files from the community database, asking me to quickly check if the victim's dental wear and pelvic structure matched John's physical records. In the afternoon, I would deliver the results. I handed the test results to Ziting. It was a match. Dr. Yi's forensics team also confirmed the victim was indeed Zhang Ning. Identifying her gave our investigation a clear target and a defined direction. This was no longer an unidentified body, but a targeted murder of Zhang Ning. Ziting ordered everyone to the main briefing room in 5 minutes. Zhang Ning, 42, was a fine arts lecturer before her death. She taught Chinese painting at Yecheng University. 3 years ago, a horrific car crash killed her parents. Zhang Ning survived, but her right wrist tendon was severely severed, stripping away her ability to do detailed brushwork. For a painting instructor, this was a devastating blow. A year ago, she planned to go abroad for her health. Records show she bought a ticket and cleared security, but our forensic estimate of her time of death suggests otherwise. Zhang Ning likely changed her mind or was forced to abort her trip at the gate. Her departure was a complete illusion. Her husband, Subanian, is also a professor at Yecheng University. She never went abroad and has been missing for a year. Yet, her husband never filed a report. Meanwhile, her social media updated every few days. Only her killer could have had her phone. This made Subanian our prime suspect. He was brought in for questioning. Ziting walked into the interrogation room, looking exhausted but sharp. Subanian, in his mid-40s, was well-groomed, with no beer belly. He had a full head of hair and carried a refined, scholarly air. "Officer, what on earth is going on? Why did you bring me here?" Ziting asked if he knew about his wife. "Did you know Zhang Ning was murdered nearly a year ago?" "No way, that is absolutely impossible. She is recovering overseas. Just yesterday afternoon, she sent me a message. She said she was doing great." Ziting snapped, "You are lying. When you said it was impossible, your eyes darted up and to the left. In behavior analysis, that means you are fabricating. You were not recalling a real memory. The left corner of your mouth was stiff, a classic slip when someone tries to force shock while controlling their face. Your surprise is fake. I really do not know what you are saying." The suspect stammered, "I do not know what you are talking about. I am just devastated. My wife is gone. How can you accuse me like this?" Ziting cut in, "Did you ever video call her? How can you be sure the person texting you was actually her? If she was just recovering abroad, why did you never leave the country once this past year? No plane tickets, no video calls, is that normal?" Professor Susai, ever since that accident 3 years ago, she became a different person. She hated when I got close and told me to get lost. I was worried, but I gave her space. I was terrified that saying too much would destroy her last will to live. The day she left, I drove her to the airport and watched her go. If I had known, I would have stopped her. I would have gone with her. Ziting expressionlessly slid a file about a trunk toward him. This trunk was custom-made 30 years ago by Zhang Ning's parents. They bought it at Yonu Hardware as part of her dowry. It was recently pulled from Kingshen Lake, holding her badly decomposed body. The trunk vanished from your home. Tell me you had no idea. Where did you put that trunk? Maybe it was in storage, or maybe I just did not pay attention. I honestly do not know. I thought my wife was alive, and now you suddenly tell me she is dead, stuffed inside that trunk. I am more devastated than anyone. I loved her. Ningning's life was worth more than my own. If I had any hand in this, may I die a horrible death. Without solid evidence, even with special approval, we could only hold him for 48 hours. This meant we had to find non-deniable proof within that time frame. Ziting and Chen Wei went to Yecheng University to speak with the department heads. They told us the couple was famous for being exemplary. Professor Su came from a poor background, and Zhang Ning's family had funded his college years. After establishing his career, he married her. Even when he learned she could not have children due to her health, he never complained. He was devoted to her, and everyone saw it. Ziting then interviewed their neighbors. One neighbor sighed, "Officer, Professor Su it is as good as they come. But ever since her parents' crash and her hand injury, her temper became unbearable. We often heard her smashing things and screaming terrible insults at him. We heard it multiple times. On the way back, our colleague, Chen Meng, was furious. This Subanian played the perfect, patient husband at school. In front of neighbors, he acted like the submissive victim who never talked back. He built his nice guy persona so well that nobody suspected him." Ziting called forensics. Tracked down the IP address of Zhang Ning's social media. Someone likely spoofed it to look like she is abroad when they are actually in China. Chen Meng, look up Subanian's college records, see if he took computer science courses. Back at the station, as Ziting was about to walk in, he spotted a young woman standing by the garden with red eyes. He walked over and asked if she needed help. She replied, "I am a student at Yecheng University. I heard Professor Zhang Ning was murdered a year ago. Please tell me it is not true. Are you one of her students?" "Yes. My name is Zia Shinran. She was my advisor. My family is poor, and I almost dropped out, but Professor Zhang found out and quietly paid my tuition. She encouraged me so much. She was the best teacher. Ziting said, "It is crowded out here. Come inside. Let's find a quiet place to talk." Ziting led her inside. After giving her some water to calm down, he said, "Zia, I am so sorry, but Professor Zhang Ning was indeed killed a year ago. We are currently investigating. I need you to tell me exactly and how you last saw her." She said, "At the time, our department had a prestigious exchange spot in France. Professor Zhang highly recommended me. I was almost selected, but then, out of nowhere, the department's decision suddenly changed. Professor Su stepped in and recommended his own student, Lin Qianchen. The last time I saw her, she was having a massive fight with Professor Su over the exchange spot." Ziting asked, "You mentioned Lin Qianchen. How was her academic standing? And how was her relationship with Professor Zhang?" Zia Shinran wiped her tears. "I was top of the class. Lin Qianchen's rank was somewhere in the top 20, but because of Professor Zhu's strong recommendation, she got the spot. I remember hearing Professor Zhang yelling in the art studio, sounding incredibly upset. She screamed, 'Subanian, if you dare let Lin Qianchen go, I will ruin your career.'" Ziting thanked her for the vital clues. Zia Shinran then asked if she could see her teacher. "The case is active right now, but once we wrap up, you can attend her memorial." "Thank you, officer. I hope you find the truth soon and let her rest in peace." After she left, Ziting called in Song Qing, "Look up Lin Qianchen from Yecheng University. I need every piece of information on her immediately." Back in the interrogation room, Subanian looked up indifferently. "Officer Z, sorry to trouble you again. But if I remember correctly, 48 hours is up in an hour. You held me without any proof. My lawyer is on the way, and I will file a formal complaint." Ziting sat opposite him, showing no expression. "Zhang Ning's parents funded your college when you were struggling. She stood by you when you had nothing, supporting you every step. She even gave up her own dreams for you. But you, mediocre Professor Subanian, what did you do? Her final fate was to be murdered by you, stuffed in a suitcase, and sunk to the bottom of a freezing lake. Subanian, do you feel any remorse at all?" "Captain, I honestly have no idea what you're talking about. My in-laws were good to me, and Ningning was wonderful. I hold that close to my heart. That is why I loved and cherished her so much. To this day, I still don't understand how she could have been murdered. I am in more pain than any of you." He started fake crying again. "I prayed every single day that you would find the truth to give me and Ningning closure. Who knew that after all your investigating, you'd find absolutely nothing. You just locked me up here, interrogating me over and over. What is this? An abuse of power? Are you trying to force a confession out of me?" The man's conscience was completely dead. Even cold-blooded reptiles would call him their ancestor. "Comrade Z, don't tell me you can't find the actual killer, so you're just planning to grab a scapegoat and pin this massive crime on a devoted husband like me, just to close the case." Facing Subanian's smug provocation, Captain Z showed no emotion. He simply tossed a stack of photos onto the interrogation table. "Why don't you see for yourself?" Subanian looked down and froze instantly. The photo showed Lin Qianchen holding a baby, walking out of a residential complex alongside his mother. "On this child's birth certificate, the father's name is your Subanian. Zhang Ning found out about your affair with Lin Qianchen, and she even knew about the pregnancy. You were terrified she would expose your dirty secrets and ruin you, so you murdered her. No, I didn't kill anyone. Even if I cheated, that is just a moral issue. It's a relationship problem. My wife's death has nothing to do with me." Right then, a tech specialist walked in. "Captain, we found Zhang Ning's phone. It was in a suburban rental house register under Subanian's father's name. We also verify his college records. He took computer science classes and is highly skilled in GPS spoofing and data cloaking. Run fingerprint tests on this phone immediately." Subanian, fingerprints do not lie. Your digital trail to cover up this crime is about to be exposed. Subanian's composure shattered instantly. He collapsed into his chair, pressing his hands against his forehead, his voice raspy and broken. "I never meant to kill her. She backed us into a corner and wouldn't let us go. I really did love Zhang Ning once. I was just a poor kid from the mountains. We met in high school, and her grades were so much better than mine. She saw me struggling and tutored me. Later, when I got into college but had no tuition money, Zhang convinced her parents to fund my entire education. Back then, I swore I would work like a dog to treat her right and repay her family's kindness. We both stayed at the university as faculty and got married. Everyone called us a model couple, but nobody knew how miserable and suffocated I felt inside. Her paintings won awards constantly, and she became an associate professor way before me. Everyone whispered that I only got this far because of her family's connections. Every time we visited her parents, they acted polite on the surface, but their passive-aggressive comments implied she was way out of my league. To them, I was just a charity case. In that house, I didn't even have the right to argue with her. If I did, I was deemed ungrateful. It was like being trapped under an invisible net, tightening until I couldn't breathe. I swallowed all that humiliation because I thought I had to. But there was one thing I absolutely could not tolerate. She was infertile. The doctor confirmed the issue was hers. But do you know what she said to me? "It is fine, Banyan. We can just be child-free." She made it sound so easy. But my hometown is a traditional mountain village. Every time I called home, my mother would cry, asking what she did to deserve this. Because I loved Zhang, I forced myself to accept it. But as I grew older, seeing colleagues with their kids, and seeing my mother quietly weeping, it tore me apart. Lin Qianchen was a student from my village. Her family was even poorer, so I sponsored her. Later, she got into the university and became my student. She adored me, saying my lectures were the best. She even said I shouldn't live in the shadow of Professor Zhang Ning's glory. In my eyes, Lin Qianchen was just a hardworking, grateful girl. I gave her some extra attention since she was from my hometown and I sponsored her. But back then, I truly never planned on cheating, until that incident happened. 3 years ago, my mother and some relatives from the mountains came to visit. Zhang Ning was too busy to host, so my mother bought groceries to cook at home. We had a dog that Zhang Ning rescued 7 years prior. The stray was usually obedient, but that day kept snarling and barking at a guest. Annoyed, the guest kicked the dog so hard it passed out. Then, the guest urged my mother, saying, "Since the dog is out cold, let's butcher it for a hot pot feast." When Zhang Ning got home, she looked for the dog. My mother lied and said it ran away. Zhang Ning didn't believe her, checked the security camera, and found the truth. Learning they had eaten her dog, she completely lost it. She screamed, confronted my family, and demanded apologies from my mother and relatives. Then, she threw my mother and our relatives out of the house. I lost completely all face. Back in our village, people whispered. She claimed she loved me, yet she humiliated me over a dog. My mother fell ill from anger, and Zhang Ning refused to even visit her. Deep down, her family despised me. Is a dog really that important? I never blamed her for being infertile. If her dog hadn't barked, would my mother have cooked it? Captain Z frowned. Zhang Ning raised that dog. For 7 years, she was a deeply loving person. Every day, she probably looked forward to her dog bringing her slippers at the door and walking together after dinner. Yet your family slaughtered and ate it. Did you ever think about how devastated she was? I knew she was upset. I offered to buy her another dog, but she refused. Even dogs have humanity, yet you have none. You are lower than a beast. If I am a beast, why didn't God strike me down? Instead, he took Zhang Ning's parents. Even heaven was sick of them. They claimed to treat me like a son, but deep down, they despised me and my rural roots. After her parents died, and her wrist injury ended her painting career, she became completely unstable. The slightest little thing would trigger her into a screaming match. I was sick of it. That new year, she refused to visit my village, so I went alone. Surrounded by relatives, the gossip about our childless marriage started again. Their jabs pierced my parents' faces and stabbed my heart. My mother gave me an ultimatum. She would die with her eyes open if I did not give her a grandson. That winter, Lin Qianchen returned to our village, seeing my misery. My home felt like an icebox, and my village was a pressure cooker. Only Lin Qianchen understood. She visited often, keeping me company. She was sweet and knew how to comfort me. Every time I was down, she would soothe me with her sweet voice. That night, I drank too much and crossed the line with her. Afterward, she lay in my arms, telling me not to feel guilty. She promised she would not ruin my marriage. She said she had adored me for years and was willing to be my mistress just to be with me. Who wouldn't love a young, beautiful girl who worships them? After the first time came a second and third. We did our affair carefully. She never made demands, just stayed quietly by my side. I never planned to divorce Zhongning. After all, our reputation as a model couple was set in stone. After her family's tragedy, abandoning her would make me a hated hypocrite. I wanted to keep both, my wife at home and my mistress on the side. Lin Qianchen was my student, so nobody suspected us. 2 years went by, but then, the obedient girl suddenly grew bold. While Zhongning was away on a business trip, she sneaked into our apartment. She put on Zhongning's nightgown, sprayed her perfume, and waited in our bed. She told me the thrill of sneaking around, the constant fear of being caught, made it incredibly exciting. She was right. The thrill of cheating was intoxicating. Whenever my wife was away, I brought Lin Qianchen over. There were security cameras in the living room, but since I knew programming, I hacked the software beforehand to wipe her tracks. But secrets always leak. Zhongning loved collecting niche perfumes. One day, Lin Qianchen took one of them, and when Zhongning went looking for it, I couldn't find that perfume for the longest time. Later, Lin Qianchen came to my office, and Zhongning smelled it on me. He didn't confront me, just calmly said he was going on a trip. I thought he was serious. So that very night, I brought Lin Qianchen back to my place. What I didn't expect was that while we were getting intimate, Zhongning suddenly returned. He caught us red-handed, and right there, he beat both Lin Qianchen and me. I got down on my knees, begging him for another chance, and he made me write a formal pledge. Back then, I had no intention of killing him. But as fate would have it, she found out she was pregnant. When my mother heard the news, she threatened suicide, forcing me to keep Lin Qianchen's baby. Left with no choice, I buckled under the pressure and sent her abroad as an exchange student to have the child. This sparked a massive, screaming fight between Zhongning and me. He even threatened to utterly ruin my reputation. He stopped coming to our newly bought home, staying at the old place instead. I was terrified he would actually. After my affair with Lin Qianchen was exposed, I went back to beg her. But the moment I opened the door, I saw her sitting by the TV. The screen was playing a video of me and Qianchen in that room. Her face was twisted with rage. She stared at me, her eyes dripping with pure hatred. Tell me, Subanian, what do you think would happen if I broadcast this video on the big screen during the university's anniversary celebration? What about your perfect husband, esteemed Professor Persona? The social image you painstakingly built for over a decade would be ruined in an instant, wouldn't it? I rushed her, snatched the phone from her hands, and deleted the video, but she saw the panic flashing in my eyes. She let out a cold laugh. Oh, so now you're scared. When Lin Qianchen wore my nightgown and sprayed my perfume to sleep with you, why weren't you afraid then? Subanian, I've been with you since I was a teenager, and now that we have everything, you cheat on me. You're heartless, shameless. How could you? Are you any better? I snapped back. If you had any shame, would you have chased me? As a teen, you practically threw yourself at me. Marry me. Zhongning slapped him the second she heard those words. If it weren't for me and my parents backing you up, could you have ever made it this far? Subanian, how could you betray me like this? His words cut right through my fragile pride and defenses. Seeing red, my face contorted, and I lunged, wrapping my hands around his neck. He thrashed violently, but my grip locked on like steel, constricting him. If he hadn't driven me to the brink, I wouldn't have killed him. He went on, saying, I still wasn't satisfied, so I grabbed an ashtray and smashed his head a few times. Once I calmed down, I panicked and stuffed his body into a suitcase to dump it. After confessing all this, Subanian broke down, sobbing uncontrollably. His wails carried a storm of complex emotions, hating himself for killing the very person who walked with him from darkness to the light. Watching the whole interrogation left me with a heavy heart. Seriously, women should never marry down out of pity. It rarely brings gratitude. Instead, you become an eyesore, met with resentment and betrayal, especially with highly insecure Phoenix men who can't see their own standing. The moment they taste success, they forget their roots entirely. Subanian Nan Zhongning are textbook cases. She was far more accomplished, and her family was much wealthier. Subanian had long harbored deep resentment and stress. Then there was his mother, a mountain woman with traditional views and delusional confidence, believing her son got into college and left the mountains entirely on his own. She felt no gratitude toward Zhongning's family, convinced her son was some prize and Zhongning was marrying up. Especially with Zhongning's inability to have children, that fatal flaw made him shameless enough to stew her 7-year-old dog and still claim he did nothing wrong because it was just a beast. Captain Z walked out of the interrogation room and told his team, "You've all worked hard lately. No overtime today. Go home and get some rest." I was about to head back to the forensics lab to clock out. Just as I started walking, I saw a tall figure approaching Captain Z. "Captain," Brother A. Cheng whispered, "that's Suyai Bai from the information center. Before you came, he was our bureau's resident hunk. Now that title is definitely yours. Stop with the hunk nonsense," Z replied. "Right, of course," A. Cheng agreed. I watched as Suyai Bai followed our boss into his office. She is incredibly popular. I honestly don't know what spell her fiancé cast on her. Out of all her suitors, she is only devoted to that vain guy who looks down on her, the people chasing your boss. Our boss has so many admirers. Yeah. Like Suyai Bai, goes without saying. Every time he sees her, his eyes turn into pink hearts. And before him, there was that super rich tycoon. He got kidnapped once, and our boss saved him. After that, he wanted to marry her to show his gratitude. He sent 99 roses every day and bought our whole office gourmet meals, but our boss just warned him that if he dared to show up again, she would sue him for harassment. I can just picture that scene. It definitely shut him up. That is exactly what a cold, aloof person like her would say. Ah Zhao, don't envy your boss. You are actually pretty yourself. You're pretty cute. I'll introduce you to some hot guys when I can. Thanks in advance, Brother Chen. After clocking out, I hit the supermarket. I've been so busy lately since moving into my new apartment and haven't even cooked a real meal yet. Carrying my groceries, I stepped into the elevator. Just as the door started closing, someone outside buzzed it. They slid open, and seeing Ziting stand there, a sudden sensation of shock washed over me, but since he didn't even spare me a glance, I had to pretend we were strangers. Why didn't he press a floor? Does he live on my floor? Could it be that he only knows I live here? Wait, didn't he say he never hooks up with coworkers? Humph, what a massive hypocrite. My apartment is on the 6th floor, and the second the elevator arrived, I stepped out first. Out of the corner of my eye, I kept close track of Ziting's movements. Sure enough, he followed me out. After taking a few steps down the hallway, I suddenly whipped around to face him. Caught completely off guard, he couldn't stop in time, and his body, he crashed right into my chest, then scrambled back a few steps. Seeing him shrink away like I was poison made me both annoyed and amused. I set down my bags and stepped closer. This time, he didn't back away. Looking up at me, he demanded, "What are you doing?" I gazed down at him. The sunlight streaming through the window gave his aloof face a fragile, almost broken look. Remembering our wild chemistry that night, I licked my lips, his delicate brows furrowed. Ziting frowned slightly. "Be serious," she said. I stared into her clear eyes, which seemed to hide a secret. "Sorry, I just remembered you eating cherries." Her cheeks burned red as she snapped, "Just get to the point." Thinking back to that night, if they didn't look exactly identical, I'd swear she had a split personality. What's with the act? Weren't you looking for me? I thought you didn't hook up with colleagues. Why follow me here? Humph, I didn't expect Captain Z to be so forward, coming right to my door. Let me go. Just then, she walked to the door opposite my apartment, typed her passcode, and went inside. With a loud bang, the door shut. I stood there, completely dumbfounded. She wasn't following me. She actually lived right across from me. My mind went blank, my face burning red with embarrassment. Snatching my bags off the floor, I bolted into my apartment and rushed to splash cold water on my face It took a while for the heat to fade. During dinner, I chatted with my buddy, Zia. He texted me. I blocked my ex. They say loving someone is like growing flowers, but to me, Nyanyan is total weed killer. Whoever touches her gets ruined. Bro, you've got to stay positive. Don't write off all women because of one trash girl. I reply, I'm totally over it. As long as they're gorgeous, they're fine to date. But marrying one, that's a massive loss. Don't worry. Just then, my mom called, inviting me over for dinner. Yeah, Mom, got it. This weekend, right? Sure. I'll be home to eat. After hanging up, I went to text Zia again, only to realize my last message wasn't in our chat. I backed out of the screen and saw my work group chat had over 99 unread messages. I opened it and froze in absolute horror. I had accidentally sent that message to the work group. It was too late to delete it, and everyone was losing their minds. I wanted to die of embarrassment. Is it too late to leave? I scrolled through the chat and one comment caught my eye. Don't go getting hotel rooms and ruining our station's reputation. My mouth twitched with rage. Why so hostile? Whatever, I'm new here. No point arguing with anyone in the group. Remembering I'd added the rest of John Lay's wedding party but not Zitang, I found his profile in the chat. I sent a request with my name, and we were connected. It'd make work communication a lot easier. I washed the dishes, then checked my phone. Still no friend request approval from Zitang. I hung my laundry on the balcony, showered, and checked my screen again. She still hadn't accepted. I was getting annoyed. What was her deal? Was she ignoring me on purpose? Fed up with guessing, I marched across the hall and knocked on her door. It opened, revealing her fresh out of the shower. Her tight clothes perfectly outlined her curves, instantly reminding me of that night. Something wrong? I asked. Why so cold? Frustrated or something? Hands off, she snapped. I smirked. Why act like we're strangers? Her deadpan face was hilarious. I literally know exactly how many moles are on your hip. I don't have moles there. Then let me see. She pressed her finger against my chest as I leaned closer. Yi Chen, don't try those cheap tricks on me, she warned. Tricks? Hey, you seemed to enjoy it plenty that night, I teased. You shameless jerk, she gasped, nearly laughing in frustration. Didn't you say we were even? Why are you trying to back out? Stop flirting. I'm not interested. Not interested? Then why were you so wild that night? Your stubborn mouth. It is the only tough thing about you. What do you actually want? I showed her my phone. I sent a friend request over an hour ago. Are you ignoring me on purpose or pretending to be blind? Even if we aren't friends, we still have to coordinate work stuff, don't we? I leaned in, whispering close to her ear. She backed flat against the doorframe, her eyes sliding down to my ABS as her mind flashed back to that night. Suddenly flushed, she shoved me out. I'll accept it in a minute. The door slammed, nearly flattening my nose. Stubborn woman, fiery temper. It took another half an hour before she finally approved my request. Aloof yet feisty, just like a kitten. Meanwhile, deep in a dark alley, a badly wounded man ran for his life. He ran frantically, but the men chasing him closed in. Out of breath, they finally dragged him down. His agonizing screams shattered the silent night. Now, he lay in the freezing woods, bleeding out. His eyes stared white in death. Suddenly, a massive crack of thunder exploded outside. I snapped awake and sat bolt upright. Cold sweat soaked my shirt, my heart hammering. Over in her apartment, Zitang was fast asleep. Then, she heard knocking. She hadn't slept well in days, and being woken up after barely getting any rest made her furious. But then the knocking stopped. Thinking I'd gone back to my place, she lay back down until her phone buzzed with a video call. She ignored it, walked to the door, and opened it. Yi Chen, can you stop? What's wrong with you? Z, can I crash on your couch tonight? Absolutely not. I won't do anything. I just want some company. Zitang stared at me, her eyes filled with deep suspicion. Don't tell me that a tough forensic doctor like you is actually scared. Seeing her guard drop, I quickly slipped inside her apartment. She pointed toward the guest room. You sleep in there. Ignoring her, I walked straight into her master bedroom. Startled by my boldness, she rushed in after me. Yi Chen, I told you, No more of this. Why is your head always in the gutter? I'm not trying to sleep with you, so don't flatter yourself. Right? Because a man knocking on my door at midnight and claiming my bed is totally normal. Look, I'm really not in the mood tonight. I won't touch you. You can neither share the bed or sleep on the floor. In your dreams, I'm taking the guest room. Another loud crack of thunder went off, and my face tail even more. Come on, Z. For the sake of our history, just stay. She hesitated, then walked to her closet, grabbed a spare duvet, and laid it out on the floor. I watched her choose the floor over sharing a bed with me. Frustrated, I flopped down to sleep. One day, I'll make you beg to get in my bed. The lights went out, but soon, I slipped off the bed onto her floor mat. As she tried to kick me away, I hugged her tight. Don't push me away. 2 years ago, my brother slipped back to town for my wedding. That the cartel suspected him and tracked him down. They tortured him brutally and dumped him in the wilderness like trash. He was undercover. If he hadn't risked it all to bring me a wedding gift, he never would have been spotted. Those monsters would kill anyone on a hunch. Since that syndicate is still out there, I actually applied for an undercover assignment a year ago. But I didn't qualify. My chief said I needed another year of field experience before I could train for specialized undercover work. You're braver than I thought, she murmured. For others to live in peace, someone has to fight. My brother was my hero. I just hope that one day, I can personally drag his killers to justice. I looked at her. Captain, why did you join the force? If it's hard to talk about, don't. She closed her eyes, hiding her emotions. For someone very important to me, she whispered. I perked up my ears, sensing a story. No follow-up, she said. Yi Chen, that night at the bar was an accident. It won't happen again. So don't think you can play with me. Play with her. Why would she think that? I thought my racing mind would keep me awake all night, but wrapped in her familiar, calming scent, my eyelids grew heavy and I drifted off. When I woke up the next morning, her side of the floor was empty. I neatly folded her bedding and walked out. Passing the kitchen, I spotted her slender figure standing by the counter making breakfast. Wow, Captain Z actually knows how to cook. It actually looked pretty good. Take yours back to your own place, she said flatly. I raised an eyebrow. What? I can't eat here with you. No. Do you seriously hate me that much, Yi Chen? Do you honestly think you're so irresistible that every woman you flirt with just swoons? Did she wake up on the wrong side of the bed? If you weren't tempted, why did you sleep with me? Did I force you? If you're so confident, why did your ex-wife cheat on you? Get out. Fine. I'm out. Don't flatter yourself. I don't need this. I stormed out. By the time I arrived at headquarters, I was almost late. I rushed to the elevator and hit the button. Inside, a crowd had gathered, including the stubborn woman I'd just argued with. She didn't even glance my way when I stepped in, so I ignored her too. Back in the corner, Officer Chen waved to greet me. Hey. Looking sharp today, Yi Chen. Thanks, man. I ordered some coffee. Treating everyone today. Leaving the elevator, Ziting and I still ignored each other. When the coffee arrived, I called out, help yourselves, everyone. I bought enough for forensics and homicide. Our colleague walked into Ziting's office. Boss, Yi Chen is so nice and loaded. He bought everyone premium coffee. Didn't you get one? In the elevator earlier, I felt some tension between you two. Did you guys have a fight? Ziting shot him a freezing glare. What? Do you think I can't afford my own coffee? Do you really have to drink the coffee he bought? Boss, I didn't mean that. I'm just curious. Brother Cheng just joined our unit, so how did you two already clash? Clash? Stop overthinking it. This is actually delicious. Boss, can we close John Ning's case? Hold off on the report. I feel like something is missing from Subanian's confession. I just, leaning against the doorframe with my coffee, I raised an eyebrow, walked in, and tossed a report in front of him. Coincidentally, I felt it too. The study carpet fibers match the suitcase lining that held John Ning's body. There are even traces of Lin Qianchen's nail glue. Ziting quickly scanned the report. You think she was involved? I nodded. The forensic data is clear. Subanian claimed it was a crime of passion, but these fiber traces prove Lin Qianchen was also in that old house. She wasn't just a bystander, she was an accomplice. Get the interrogation room ready and bring the evidence. Ziting questioned her immediately, though she tried to play innocent at first. He lied and said we were just going to scare her. The once Ziting showed her the nail glue residue and the CCTV footage near the house, her defense collapsed. Slumping in her chair, she confessed, that night, she was hiding in the bedroom. Hearing Zhongning and Subanian argue and seeing her pull out the affair video, she quietly grabbed a crystal ashtray and handed it to him. While Zhongning was being strangled, she pinned down her limbs. After she died, she helped Subanian stuff the body into the suitcase and clean the scene. With solid evidence, they were arrested for murder. The university expelled her. When her parents heard, they couldn't even show their faces in the village. Her child would grow up without parents. When the verdict came, everyone breathed a sigh of relief, the heavy weight in our hearts finally lifting. This victory felt sweeter than any other. Zhongning's case was fully closed, yet my relationship with Ziting remained tense. Chen Jia and the crew kept trying to play matchmaker, but his icy glare shut them down every time. Life went on, uneventfully. Half a month later, we got a tough case. A man's body was found in a suburban abandoned factory. He was a drug fugitive, and the case tied back to the cartel that killed my brother. My undercover request was finally approved. I'd pose as a black market doctor to gather evidence. The commander was Ziting. The night before, he called me into his office. Come in, Captain. You wanted to see me. Under the light, his eyes softened, losing his usual icy exterior. Yi Chen, it's dangerous. You must protect yourself. Safety comes first. Don't worry, your medical examiner is tough. Besides, with you backing me up, I'd never let anything happen. Who is yours? Be serious. Take this, and don't lose it. Signal immediately if anything goes wrong. Undercover life was brutal. The paranoid boss tested me constantly, even forcing me to dissect a traitor to prove my identity. Whenever I was in danger, thinking of Ziting watching over me and my brother's death kept me going. After 3 months, I finally gathered hard evidence and mapped their transaction network. We scheduled the raid for a rainy night, the exact weather from the day my brother died. Ambushes were set. Ziting led the frontal assault while I assisted from within. Nobody moved. In the chaos, the boss recognized me and lunged with a knife. At that critical moment, Ziting rushed over to shield me. The blade tore his uniform, leaving a deep gash on his arm. Seeing red, I slammed the boss onto the ground, punching him repeatedly until the officers pulled me off. Seeing the wound on Ziting's arm, my heart absolutely ached. Are you stupid? Why didn't you dodge? He smirked, wiping the blood from my face. I'm the captain. It's my job to protect you. And you're not just a team member. I looked at him with absolute sincerity. Ziting, from the night we met at the bar after your divorce, to the floating corpse case, and these last 3 months, I've thought of you every day. I wanted to survive just to see you again. You're the only one in my heart. I'm not playing games. I want to spend the rest of my life with you. His eyes welled with tears. He tried to look away, but I gently turned his face back. I leaned down and kissed his lips. He didn't push away, wrapping his arms around my neck, returning the long-awaited kiss. The rainy wind howled, but it couldn't chill our hearts. The syndicate was completely dismantled. My brother's killers were captured and sentenced to death by the court. Brother, you've finally been avenged. Everyone who hurt you paid the price. Now, I can finally move on and live. Ziting stood beside me, gently squeezing my hand. The warmth of his palm felt incredibly grounding. With the case closed, our relationship became official. The precinct had already guessed, and Chen Zhao was already demanding wedding favors. Su Yaibai offered his warm blessings. Ziting moved into the apartment opposite mine, and we practically lived together. During our quiet nights, he told me why he became a cop. His father, a veteran detective who died in the line of duty. He wanted to continue his legacy and protect the city. I held him close and whispered, I'll stand with you. From now on, a year later, with our colleagues watching, I proposed. Ziting, I'm a forensic examiner. I deal with death every day, but my only fear is losing you. For the rest of our lives, I want to be your shield. Will you marry me? Ziting nodded, tears streaming down his face. He reached out, letting me slide the ring onto his finger. His smile was radiant, Entirely free of his old icy distance, our wedding was simple, with only family and colleagues. Chen Zhao was the bridesmaid, and Song Qing was the best man. We will keep being happy, guarding each other, our careers, and the peace of this city.